Suzette Wheeler, The Self-Publishing Journey. The Self-Publishing Journey, Suzette Wheeler.
Hello, my name is Suzette Wheeler. I'm the author of the book Math Hack Secrets, Level Up to Keep More of Your Money. And our Toastmaster group is Level Up Toastmasters. I wrote this book, Math Hack Secrets, because I experienced and know of people that hate math, and so they're making mistakes with their money. And so this book is to help them save more of their money and to make wise financial choices for every day, from grocery store to buying a car, to taking out a loan, to a credit card, and balance transfers offers. There's a lot of really good information in here that people can use. So I have some ideas. I put down comparing prices at the grocery store, thousands of dollars in a car, creating monthly budgets, counting back change, and even a little bit on Common Core math, that new math strategy that they're using in schools. Now, why did I write this book? I saw people suffering, and I could feel their pain, because when we were little growing up, we had a blue-collar household, one working parent, and my mom stayed home. And so we were scraping by. We go to the grocery store on payday, and my mom would buy 2 grocery carts full of food that could either be frozen or canned. It was canned food. And she did that so that we would have the food for the rest of the 2 weeks. And one thing that she wanted to make sure is that we were fed and that we were taken care of. So I know how to be frugal and to budget grocery shopping and other things like that. And I experienced that. And I can see that there's people today that have that as well. They have issues with spending, and they need some help. They just need a little bit of guidance. And a lot of people just hate math. So this gives them a great method to like it again, because they're gonna actually see how much money they save by using the things in the book. So that's why I wrote the book. But we have, for this book, I put it in a self-publishing. I went self-publishing on this book. So there's 2 different ways you can go. You can go through a publishing house, or you can self-publish. So the publishing house requires that you get a literary agent. So you have to convince a literary agent that your concept doesn't have to be a complete book, but your concept is worthwhile, and you submit all these query letters. And then once the literary agent accepts you, then she works with you and works with publishing houses. The large ones are in New York City. But they decide what your book cover looks like. They decide what content's in your book. And they decide what the price point is, and they basically give you stipend money. And then you have to produce the book, and you have to basically promote it yourself to get them to give them their money back that they put into the book. So that's the publishing journey. But I want to do self-publishing because I wanted to have control over my book cover. I wanted to have control over the contents inside, and there's higher royalties if you do self-publishing journey. But there's also costs and steps that you have to take to get there. And I didn't know, this is my first book. I didn't know all the steps that needed to be taken. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. I was reading a lot of things online. I was trying to get a handle on the book. And at first what I did is I put the book together, basic concepts, and then I moved them into chapters. And I said, okay, now I've got something. Now I need, who next needs to look at this next? This can be a developmental editor. So I'll describe all of these wonderful steps. I have a handout for you. Publishing book journey. And at the bottom, by the way, is a QR code that links you to the website that I have. I've created a website for this book and for all the future books that I have. Anyway, let's go through that. The first step is hire a developmental editor. So I had no idea about developmental editor. I just knew that they were going to look at the entire book, all the contents, everything in the book, and decide what should stay, what should be removed, and ask a lot of questions. So I actually hired a lady named Heidi, who I found through a gentleman that was the head of the Business Network International, it was this networking group that I was part of. And he used her for his developmental editing. So I decided, okay, I'll try to work with her. So I asked her if I could work with her. And that's hard because you have to ask them if they'll work with you, and then you have to pay them. So it's like, it's a lot of times they're really busy and they don't even have time to work with you. But if you come recommended from someone, that's when the doors start opening. So I knew I had to have connections to get there. And so the first one was the developmental editor. So we went through 3 rounds of this book, and she's saying, what about budgeting? What about this? Can you explain that? And so the concepts, this book grew by 3 chapters because of our discussions, the 3 rounds of discussions with developmental editors. That's a big part. A lot of people don't know this. They don't know about all the steps. So you'll get to know about all these steps for self-publishing. Then step number 2 is hiring a line editor. This I didn't think was any big deal, so I skipped the step. That was a big mistake. Line editors come in and they don't just correct the diction or the grammar in the book, but they also ask a lot of questions. So I'll talk about that when I had to backtrack to get to the line editor after I'd gone through all these other steps. So I'll talk about that. Hire a copy editor. A copy editor is hired for basically grammar and punctuation and things like that. My particular line editor I found online, and I found it through this company, and then they introduced me to this lady. And then she was in New York, and she was also in this other state. So she was going back, it seemed like a good deal, right? But what happened is she gave me, and of course I didn't know. She gave me some feedback and she made some changes to the book, but she didn't do that great of a job. But of course I didn't know. I was reading through this book so much. There were things missing. There were things that weren't corrected that should have been. So I went through the line editor and the copy editor. And step 4, something that people don't think about, but this is really important. When you're having these line editors and copy editors look at your book, you also need to go in and get a copyright protection for the book. To submit it to the copyright office, it's actually electronic file. You don't have to submit a physical book. You submit the physical book after the fact, after I publish. I'm submitting this to copyright office. And then also I went in for Library of Congress. So I submitted through Library of Congress. So I'll be sending them a book. And then I also submitted through the trademark. So I wanted to trademark Math Hack Secrets because I plan to put other books together. I plan to do some online programs. I plan to do calendars, stickers, things like that. And when you're using a name like this, you don't want someone else to jump in and start using your name for notebooks, for workbooks. There's one financial book that I bought and I was reading through until I realized it was an English writer, that it's a financial book. But everyone else, since he didn't trademark his name, they took his name, they took the picture that he had done, and they said workbook for this particular book. And there are like 4 people that did that. So I was like, nope, that's not going to happen to me. I want total, I want to be able to know that I have my book. Next is the book cover designer. Now they say, when you read a lot of YouTube, oh, it's just so easy. You just take this book cover template, you throw in you go to Canva, you put in some things, you post it on, and then voila, you got a book cover. But I hired a company to actually develop this. And how this was developed is actually, I said, I want a blue book, a yellow book, or a red book. I want you to give us 3 examples. And so the blue book had this Math Hack Secrets in yellow and the nice little Ben Franklin in the beach chair. I said, I want a beach chair. I want a sand thing. I want I want someone looking like they're relaxing. So they put Ben Franklin in there, which I thought was very creative. But I said, I want yellow in the book. So I said, can you put that at the top? So then they put it at the top and voila. So it was a combination effort, but you can see the spine and then even the back of the book. So the back of the book has an author profile. I've put my QR code on there, which is really rare to see on books, QR code on the back, ISBN number, and then some stuff about the book to try to sell it. Step number 6, a format editor. Did you know there's a thing called a format editor? There's a specific job. Okay, a format editor actually takes all of your text and puts it into a format. So like on this page, I worked with her on making sure that the math problems lined up because I have math problems in here, not throughout the book, but in certain places. And there's certain headers in gray. And then there's text up here. What is the name of the chapter and what's the name of the book and all of that. And your numbering system, where do you want your numbers? All of those decisions have to be made on a book. Who knew? I figured it out as I went. I had one format editor that I don't think he really knew what he was doing. And he had like dark text around items. It was like darker around an item instead of being the text color of the book. There's things like that. So I went around and around with him for like 30 days. I only was able to get through chapter 1. And I said, something's wrong here. So I paid them for their services, and then I went and sought out another format editor. And that ties in, by the way, with publicists, and I'll get down to publicists at step 8. But the publicist was very important to actually refer me to these good people that actually could get the job done and did an excellent job. Who were professionals in their field. After you get the book formatted, you have to determine the publishing sites that you want. Like Amazon is one, you can upload to Amazon. This actually book was printed as a proof from Amazon. So Amazon, but then Amazon sells online ebooks and regular books to people. But if you want to put your book, I had a vision to have my book in libraries and in bookstores and in schools. I want to get this into the school system. So in order to do that, Amazon isn't the choice for that part of the distribution. So I did my research and I found out that Ingram Spark, there's a couple of them, but Ingram Spark not only does bookstores, libraries, but it also does international. So I can sell this book internationally with them as well. And it's the companies that buy it. So they're kind of wholesaler. So you can't buy directly from Ingram. It's the libraries and schools and all that buy directly from them. So the publishing sites, and then, once you choose the publishing sites and you put your documents, you upload, you have to upload the book, which it has to accept. So it has to be in the right format to be accepted as an upload. The book cover, there's book covers for Ingram Spark. They have a certain book cover design template that they use. There's templates for Amazon. Everyone has a different template. So when I got this book cover design, I had to pay the book cover designer for a template for Amazon, a template for ebook, a template for Ingram Spark to get my book to be able to be uploaded and printed at those various sites. So it's very interesting. When you get your proof of your book, that's when you dig in and you start looking for errors. Because sometimes you can look through a book and it looks fine when you're on the computer screen, but once you have a physical book, then you start seeing things. And like for me, I started seeing errors. And errors that the copy editors should have found and didn't. And I'm like, oh no. So then I worked with a format editor and we started making changes. I was giving her submission and she was making changes. And then she made changes and I saw more errors and more errors. And I said, no, I can't put this book out with those errors. I can't reasonably put this out because this is me. This is my reputation. What I put out there is me. And there's people that will read this and go, if it's not right, they'll go, yeah, they'll be focusing on one little word instead of the huge concept of helping people save a lot of money every day. So anyway, check the book for errors and that sort of thing. It's really great when you can print it out as a proof, which this is, has a little proof thing on it. You can tell it's a proof. I can tell it's a proof. Step 8, hire a publicist if you want to sell a lot of books. Do I know how to break through the Amazon barrier, how to sell books on Amazon? I know there's a site called Goodreads, which Amazon purchased, but how do I get this book out there? And how do I reach out to the social influencers, the financial social influencers that would be able to promote my book or give me a podcast or be a guest on a podcast so I can promote my book? And I didn't know, so I started talking to publicists. What I did is I started looking on the internet. I found a lady who had evaluated 3 publicists, and it was at a conference, so they were asked to speak as a panel. And so I checked out each one, and there's one that just kind of resonated with me. So I reached out to her directly, and she said, I want to see your book. So I sent her the Word copy. At the time, I didn't have it in this form. And she said, yes, I'll accept you as a client. They get to choose if they accept us as a client. It's not like everybody's trying to get your business, except for the ones that I'll tell you about that. Step 9, I decided to hire a website designer. I decided to create a website so I could have all of my blogs and my information out there, information about me, which usually when they get on the website, they're looking for videos, they're looking for information about me, who I am, a little bit of my background, because this is a pretty small little section about me, and there's a lot more. So that's why I wanted a website, because I did want to take this to the next level, and I wanted to create some more books. So when you have a website, you can do that. And the next thing I did is I actually am working with a film crew to create what's called a sizzle reel. What a sizzle reel is, it's like a minute to a minute and a half blast of all these wonderful things about the book with me in it, and kind of talking about certain things about the book and what you can learn and what you can do. It's a real exciting type reel. So that's going to be happening, and that will go on my website as well. Isn't this amazing? There's a lot of steps in this. And I'll tell you about how to shortcut those depending on what you want. And my step 11 is become a social media influencer. So I realized if you have a website, you have a reel for the sizzle reel, if you have social media presence, like I signed up for X in a Math Hack, and Instagram and Math Hack, and of course YouTube Math Hack, and I have these other sites, so I'm gonna have to load them up with content. When I load them up with content and other information, I'm gonna have to keep that up. So every week I'm gonna have to put something out there or lay it up so that it's out there every week. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm changing kind of my whole thought process about what else can I put out there? How can I share some of this information and give examples? Let's go to a grocery store and have a film crew film me actually comparing prices at a grocery store, and how can that work? That'll excite the crowd, because my target market is aged 15 to 30. I really want to reach out to the younger people that never really had home economics, which is, I don't know if they even know home economics, the home economics course, or some sort of personal finance course in school. So this is to reach out to them. So the publicist is the one that's going to help me find these financial social media influencers and promote the book through Amazon and get me speaking engagements that I can do. So this is just going to take off to become speaking and blogging and a lot of social media. So it's amazing. It's totally different from my finance career I had. It's totally different, but it's wonderful in a way. I love this. So just a little bit of some things to think about. If you're publishing a book or you're writing a book, there's all these people that pop up and they start sending emails and they're saying, yeah, we can publish your book for $2,000. Right? And so I put in probably $40,000 into this so far. So 2,000 sounds like a big, great deal, right? But what are you getting for that? What type of talent? Who are these people that are doing this? There's the one that did the format editing and really kind of messed up the book, and I had to go and find a new format editor. The people that are doing the front cover, are they really experts in creating something that will sell? That type of thing. So you have to be careful about that. The people that want to sell you. There's other people that want to give you advice and they want to charge you for it. So what I ended up doing is I ended up going to YouTube a lot. I was out on YouTube and I gleaned some information off of this particular person and this one, and what they're trying to sell you indirectly is that they can help you publish your book. You just pay them and they'll give you advice to publish a book. But if you go and shop around at all the YouTube videos, you'll figure out that you could probably do it yourself. It's just, there's a lot of steps to take to get there. Anyway, I'm recommitted to making this successful. And it's my passion. And I know this is going to be very popular. I know that I'm going to be able to reach people. I tell people about this and they're excited and they say, I need that book. I need that book. I need to learn more about at grocery shop. I need to know how to save more money on my everyday purchases. Really, you have something about credit card transfer balance offers and how to now analyze those? Really? How to buy a car strategically? There's people that need this, which I'm really happy because that's why I put this together. I really wanted to help people keep more of their money and level up their finance or personal finance skills. Now I'm finished. I will take some questions if you have any questions.
How long of a process was this where you decided, I'm gonna write a book? To the point here where you're,
About 3 years. There's about 3 years. I started in 2021, and then I started with the developmental editor, because I wrote it in about 9 months. That's my first draft. That went fast. That part went fast, but everything else, developmental editing, going back and forth, and oh, you're missing this. Oh my gosh, I'm writing all these new chapters. Yeah, that took a while. And then of course, format editing, just putting this format in, that takes at least 30 days. The line editing, since we knew what we were doing, and I had a good person, we got through that in like 30 days. But yeah, it's all the editing that takes time. And the website took 3 months to put that together because we're going back and forth, and I just wanted it to be really good. I just wanted it to stand out. So I had GoDaddy on that one, so we worked that out. So yeah, it's coming on 3 years.
and can you go to the website and buy the book already, or is it still pending on coming out?
It is, it's pending coming out. I'm
Mhm.
expecting March 1st launch. So I'm giving us enough time. The line editing is done now. So it's in really good form. The format editor's gonna take it back and reformat it. I already have the book cover done, so probably beginning of March is my launch. Or sooner. But the publicist is following along with me. So when I'm ready to go, they set up their criteria. They start reaching out to everybody. They promote the book through Goodreads. They do a lot of Amazon stuff that I'm gonna learn what they do because it's just really interesting stuff and they're experts at what they do. So yeah, it's exciting. It's almost here.
Yeah.
Questions? Yeah.
How much of an emphasis will be selling the school systems? You mentioned that. Will this be locally here or around the country?
I would like it to go around the country. I'm starting here. I have some actual high school principals that are interested. I'm gonna be reaching out to them. There's some nonprofit organizations that are in town. There's a teacher in one of the elementary schools I reached out to, only teaches some math. so I'm gonna be spreading my little spider web out and reaching out to all of these people, because now I am close. And they're gonna say, when is it gonna be published? At least I know now. I'm not taking steps sideways and pivoting like I was. By dealing with people that, that I had to.
So will you be doing like in 2 steps, first selling it to the school system here and then using that back to sell it for our.
Yes, yes. And I know some people that actually are a part of library districts in other states as well. I was just told this, one of my fellow Rotarians said, I'm on the board of this library district. I'm like, great. So yeah, it's gonna be a plan just to put all of that together, but yeah, it will be.
Our member Debbie online has a question for you.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. This was a really great speech, and sorry my camera's not working. I'm not sure why, but yeah, so I just wanted to add that I'm currently at UNLV in a master's program, and they were talking about how they introduced a financial literacy class to freshmen, and it's really taken off, and there's a huge appetite for that at UNLV. Have you targeted them at all to try to reach students looking for financial literacy advice?
Yes, I reached out to a gentleman named Tucker Sappington, and he's with the Alumni Association. And he is into like business development with the Alumni Association. I approached him with my book. I met with him for lunch. I gave him a copy of my book, and then he presented it to the business college and to some of the professors in the business college. They're very interested in having me speak and possibly other activities to help them out with that financial literacy program. There actually is a UNLV financial literacy program. So I am pursuing that avenue. And so that should be coming up. I should know what my role will be, but they said that we're really excited about this. So I'm excited now.
I love that for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? No? Okay. Thank you very much.